Live in 3, 2, 1. Choo choo choo. Choo choo. Train all day. Boy under the bridge by night. Choo. I know you're thinking it. Not another fucking podcast. Well, in my defense, I have no guests, no studio. I'm alone in my car, so my housemate can't judge me. I have my mobile for a mic and this balmy wrapper for background audio. It's just that with all this time on my hands, I thought I have to make something. And baking bread is definitely going to end up burning the apartment down, so this is much safer. Have you heard my raps, though? Because they are straight fire.
Denial chemistry, girl, you're lying to reality. We can skip the foreplay, but the wordplay never stops. A clothes and spaceships, and they're ready for takeoff.
In all seriousness, Melbourne has headed into another round of lockdown, and while I was chatting to a friend recently, she spoke about, the importance of having something to throw our energy into. And there's only so long you can sprint around the block for. 60 minutes, in fact. And even that's a bit risky. Can't risk that nose slipping out from behind the mask, because that is the new equivalent of public flashing. So I thought I'd give this audio thing a go. I have made videos before, but I find myself getting caught up in scripting, editing, and in a way, I guess, the acting of it. Not to say that I'm not genuine, but I've come to understand that when a camera or crowd is pointed at me, I'm like a dog that's just heard that W word. I get a bit excited, so I hope audio will be a good way to keep it a bit more vulnerable, real, and just let me to think out loud and in that way process a bunch of stuff. And maybe my thinking will get you thinking and processing, and then as I feel better, you'll feel better too. Maybe you'll drop me a like, maybe a comment, then maybe you'll feel obligated to contribute to my monthly rent. I'm kidding with that one. I don't have an OnlyFans, but I have a book where I'm pretty much half naked, covered in ice cream. Self-plug right there. Living in Cream, a metaphorically messy guide to a sweeter life. It's on the blog, boyunderthebridge.com. With that over, I enjoy voice messages to friends particularly. I find it's a really good way to let stuff marinate before you reply. But I've also done this voice memo thing to myself for a while. For anyone that doesn't like to write or journal, audio journaling is really beneficial. Every phone has a voice memo function, and on your commute home, you can just hit record and debrief about your day. Even if no one's listening, it's just the act of speaking that tends to put things in place, and it leaves you with less baggage to lug around. So when you get home, you're much less likely to hiss at your housemates. But there's also the benefit of revisiting messages from a few months ago and just going, shit, look how far I've come. Gives you perspective. And it does take a little bit of getting used to. I mean, when you're recording, you'll feel a bit awkward walking past other people. But just remember, it's not like you're on a sex hotline. To anyone else, you're just looking like an extremely selfish individual who won't stop talking about themselves and give the other person a chance to speak. Awesome. So let's get into it. What is up? My corona. Yeah, seriously sick of this shit, but it's on everyone's agenda. It's on everyone's mind. It's weighing heavy on our souls. So I thought I'd just talk about what my plan is to get through it. As I said, Melbourne's gone down into another lockdown. We've got 6 weeks of even tighter restrictions. And how I'm kind of getting through it is firstly just trying to take things not so personal and realizing this is something we're going through together, and it is, to a degree, a reflection of how blessed and privileged I've been up to this point. I've been saying to friends, this is our world war to a degree. It's a monumental moment in history. It's like, you know, like a 20-year-old something who's just done their first Kentucky tour. We're going to be talking about this for a long time coming, and it's really going to be a defining moment. And what I'm trying to do is just put myself in a forward headspace and visualize life returning to some degree of normal. And with that, think about the story that I want to be telling. And for me, that's not just learning 5 languages and baking bread. It's like just staying the fuck afloat, to be honest. And those who have been through mental health rough patches will know what I'm talking about. That getting up on time, eating well, exercising, not getting too lost in benders, be it substance or distractions with technology, and just keeping momentum. That's a victory, and definitely something to celebrate. There's a lot going on, so I think the last thing we need to do is shame ourselves for where we're at with things. And with that, I'm also giving myself just time to tune out. And if I'm not feeling it, then just not checking the news, because everything you consume has some sort of effect. Like what we eat affects our body, but what goes through our ears definitely affects our minds. You got to ask yourself, what's the nutritional value of this? Right now, I'm just imagining there's someone who's discovered during ISO that they kind of like putting stuff in their ears. So no judgment there. This car is a judgment-free zone. But yeah, if I just sometimes do just one news-free day a week, that can help to lighten the load. And also, yeah, quality time. I think while we're, not able to see our friends and being isolated, we might spend more time on social media. I know I have, but I've realized that not all time is created equal. There's quality over quantity. Instead of spending 2 hours dropping comments and likes and that, I'm trying to take like 30 minutes and just spend it with the person one-on-one in a video or audio call. And with no one else in the conversation, I think it gives us permission to really break down and talk about how we're feeling, have a vent, because when everyone's there on social media, there's a bit of pressure to hold strong and appear like you got it all in order or look at the positives, when I think we need that time. So, and yeah, being grateful for what I do have as well. Whenever things are taken away from us, kind of it illuminates the little gems. And in that, I'm really appreciating family, friends, partner that I get to spend time with, my little space on the balcony to exercise, the roof over my head, and even a housemate who is so easy to get along with. Unlike my last two, who brought bed bugs into the apartment, rearranged the lounge room without asking, and didn't pay their $300 in rent and bills. So, fuck you, Jamie. Honestly. Last one. I'm remembering that, this is unknown territory, but there have been other times in my life where I've experienced uncertainty, as I'm sure we all have. Right now, I'm studying counseling, university. I'm also doing placement for that and looking for work. So there's a lot up in the air, and trying to arrange all those pieces in my head just really just puts me in this state of total, it's paralyzing, and it really pushes me to just procrastinate. What I'm trying to do is just identify the next step that I can take, really shrinking my perspective. And with that, it makes it a bit more manageable. And I know that as obstacles pop up, as they do when things change, I'll be able to jump them or stumble over them. It's cliche as all fuck, but really it is, in this time, a day at a time kind of scenario. I don't mean to downplay this. It's hard myself. I spoke to my doctor about it, and my doctor recommended trying an antidepressant. And I know that's kind of a situation I'm in, because a lot of the things that keep me well, like seeing all of my friends, exercising, social activities, all these things, they're not available. So in that sense, it's okay to not be okay right now. Yeah, so that is the first episode done. I will sign it off by saying I hope everyone's well, and maybe ask the question of, what do you think of this? Should I stop now? Should I get a proper microphone? Take up my rightful place in the apartment? Would you like me to ramble about anything else? And how are you getting through this chapter of COVID? Do you have tips? I'm going to leave with a quote by Rainer Maria Reich. Probably butchered the name, but something to hold at this time. Be patient towards all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves. Like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue, do not seek the answers which cannot be given to you because you will not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Yeah, hope that helps. Bit of patience is what we need right now. So much love. I'm out.
Girl's hypnotic, cause man I'm hypnotized. Planets for our eyeballs, galaxies in our eyes. And I may have forgotten the question, but not the solution. We're just two in this relationship, it's an easier equation. Just count every touch and multiply by her caress.